This is a good question here. Prince and the Revolution. Which did I prefer, Raspberry Beret or Pop Life? Wow, what a time. So I remember getting the Around the World in the Day album 40 years ago, Taking You Back, the clear see-through tape. And I don't know if I ever talked about it or not. The album cover was like a replica, but it was in a psychedelic way. And it was the artifact of him, of the whole group, of the band. As a matter of fact, Jill Jones was doing the violin. That was her. The interesting part of Prince in the blue and white outfit, which he wore for the Raspberry Beret video, his hair was going to be dyed blonde. Ironically, August Darnell, aka Kid Creole, did the same thing if you watch the Indie Cut video. There were very a lot of similarities. That's a whole nother video, another discussion. Prince got a lot off of August Darnell. That's another time about Kid Creole and the Coconuts, because they were the international version of what Prince was trying to do with the Revolution. And Wendy and Lisa and Eric Lee said as such, but that's another time, another video. But let me get to these songs and what I thought. Nothing has changed in the time period. When I got Around the World in the Day back then, I thought it was an average album, and I still do. But the difference is before his rockets fell off, he did rebound with the Sign of Times album for me. But when he had a hit, he had a hit. And that's one thing about Prince. I might not necessarily always dug most of his albums all the way through. And there's always going to be that big divide after the Purple Rain era because he had a distinctive way. Wasn't really, obviously, I'm one of the people that I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I didn't really care for any of his albums all the way through after 87. This was kind of like the bump in the road in the middle, which just goes to show you that the 80s wasn't all without him. He wasn't Mr. It wasn't everything. He did give you hits and he gave you moments, but he had some stuff that was kind of like, and Raspberry Beret, I liked the string arrangement. It had that whimsical, it was one of those kind of songs you kind of got into. I like the digs in it. It definitely had a country pick and vibe about it. I like how he digged in it. He took a shot at Rick James, Old Man Johnson's from, was it about Jesse Johnson and Part-Time Mr. McGee's? He had a humor. It was kind of like if he had done Hee Haw, which he ended up doing a decade later, it would have been funny. Because Raspberry Beret was the Chambers brother. I think he the harmonica part in there. It was pretty comical, funny, but it was catchy though. It was the way he sung it. It was like, okay, you could definitely get into that. That was catchy. I didn't really care for the long version, but the basic track was cool and it was cold and it was very addictive. I like the vibe of it. And you could definitely find yourself singing it, with the harp and everything. It was cool. Now, Pop Life was autobiographical because of the boxing, like the whole thing when the fans booed him at the Rolling Stones thing and what you put in your nose.